Okay, so I'm totally blaming Beauty Bean and Annette's Makeup Corner for inspiring me to wear a very dark and vampy look. Both ladies posted videos today where they were both wearing very, very dark or black lipsticks, and I was just like, ooh, I want to go vampy with my lips, and I'm loving it for today's video. Anyway, hi, hello, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to check out another one of my videos. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Katie Marie. I'm a lover of eyeshadows. I easily get distracted and go down many rabbit holes. But if you like eyeshadow palettes or just talking about makeup in general, you may like it around here. And today's video is going to be centered around a brand. We are going to be diving into the SheGlam brand. This is SHEIN's makeup brand. It's very confusing. SHEIN, SheGlam, but SHEIN is like the fashion brand, I guess you could say, and they have their own brand called SheGlam, where they have a bunch of very affordable makeup. And I got a comment asking if I would review the products and let you guys know my thoughts on the palettes. So when I went on to get the palettes, I ended up getting a couple things, so we're going to just do a one brand review, and I'm going to share with you guys if I think that they are good dupes, if I think that they're good makeup, and just my thoughts on it in general. First up though, we have to do my Instagram shout out for today, and today it is going to go to the beautiful KA GR8921. I know I'm missing that. I think it's short for K is great 921. I think that's what it is. Caitlin, thank you so much for commenting on one of my recent posts. I really do appreciate it. And you are my Instagram shout out for today. And per usual, if you want a chance to be featured at the beginning of my videos, all you have to be doing is following me on Instagram. I'm LadyKatie92 and interact with my content, and I'll randomly select someone when I sit down to film. So now let's get into talking about this SheGlam makeup. Okay, so let's go ahead and start out with a little bit of a dud. I grabbed the SheGlam Expert Creamy Eyeliner Pencil, or I guess it's a retractable pencil or retractable gel liner. Excuse me. This was for no real dupe, at least that I didn't really see. It's just a pencil, but I grabbed it because I love trying black gel liners. It was only a couple of dollars, so I threw it into my bag, and I don't like it. And it's not so much that it's a bad color or it's not black. Like, if you sit there long enough, you can get a pretty dark black, but it's definitely not inky black. It's more of a charcoal gray type of black, and then that's with like applying it with a lot of pressure. So I guess if you want to do it on your upper lash line, it'd probably work fine, but I use this specifically for my waterline, and trying to get this into my waterline, no matter how many times I went over, no matter how much pressure I tried to put on my waterline, it never got inky black. Like, it was just kind of a watery gray, and especially when my eyes started watering because I was being so rough trying to get it to transfer, it would get even more sheer, even more watery, and it definitely had absolutely no lasting power in my waterline. So I didn't try this for long. I think I wore it, or tried to wear it, maybe 3 days total, and I was just like, not worth it. This is totally a dud. I'm not going to struggle with it anymore. So this is definitely a product I would not recommend. Okay, I really have no rhyme or reason to this, so I'm just kind of grabbing from my little bin of SheGlam makeup and talking about it. But these are the sponges. I want to say it was $3 for 3 of these, and these are decent sized sponges. They feel incredibly soft. I do like how they feel, both wet and dry, but I have a couple of critiques to make. One of them being, I don't know why, but they put a ton of glitter on these makeup brushes when they like give it to you in the package, because when I pulled them out, I got glitter all over my hands, and when I was looking at it, I was like, oh my, did they like embed glitter throughout this whole sponge? But I went and I washed them really well, and all the glitter came out. Once I got the glitter out, it's like, okay, these will probably be great. I'm excited to use them, but my biggest con is they hold on to a lot of water. A lot. So when I use them, typically whenever I'm ready to do my face, or like right before I kind of clean my face and do my skincare, I'll go wet my sponge so it has a couple minutes to dry up before I go in with my foundation. So that's what I do with these. But when I got to the step to do my foundation, it was really wet. Like, it was so wet to the point where I could tell it was mixing with the foundation and not making it apply as good or to the best of its abilities, if that makes sense. So they're just too wet for me. But with that said, they are extremely soft. Like, I love how soft they are. They're very soft. Even just holding them dry in your hands, they're really nice and soft. So it kind of made me think, I was like, I wonder if these would work nice enough if they were completely dry. So this morning, actually, I sat down. I did not wet them. I had used it the day before, so it was 24 hours later that I used it. They were still damp, and even to right now, like, it's way past the 24-hour mark, they're still a little damp. If I squeeze it, I can feel the little bit of dampness in there. So anyway, I tried putting my foundation on today with these sponges after 24 hours of initially wetting them, and they were just a little bit dry. So I feel like from now on, the way I'll use this is I'll wet them the night before, like right before I go to bed, and that way they have several hours to dry and not be so wet. but then they're not too dry like they are now with it being 24 hours later. They're not too dry and, you know, kind of messing up the way I apply my makeup. It wasn't the worst with them being dry. It just, I noticed it was a little hard to get the foundation moving around, but like I said, I feel like my foundation looks really nice. I got it to apply very nicely. I have no complaints, but for my preference, it was just a touch bit dry. So I feel like these will work the best if you wet them the night before and let them dry a couple hours before you use them. With that said, I haven't tried it, so I'll put it on the screen here because I plan to do that tomorrow and just see how it works. And I feel like that will be the perfect balance that I need to make these work, because like I said, I love how soft they are. I like how big they get when you wet them. They're very nice and easy. I like the shape of them. Both of these are my ideal shapes when it comes to sponges. And for these being the tiny little brushes, they're actually pretty large. They get a little bit bigger than this when you initially wet them, and I like that because it makes doing my concealer really nice and fast. Like, it's not so small. They get decently big to the point where I even tried using this to like apply my foundation, and I mean, it takes a little bit longer because while it is big for concealer, it's a little bit small for my face. But all that to say, I do like the size of this mini, and it's a mini that I can actually see myself using for concealer. But for $3, if you don't mind wetting it a couple hours before you do your makeup, I feel like it'll work out really well. And for me personally, I feel like it'll jive really well with my makeup routine because I sit down to do my makeup right when I get up in the morning. Like, I roll out of bed and come and do my makeup. So I always forget to wet my makeup brushes before I sit down because I'm still sleeping. And then once I get to my face, it's like, oh, I gotta get up and go wet it at the sink. And I tend to not. And that's why I tend to not use sponges, just because I don't want to get up and go wet it. Yes, I'm lazy. I know. But with these sponges, if I wet them the night before I go to bed, they'll be ready and waiting at my makeup table. Overall, I feel like for $3 is not a bad price. If you don't mind having to wash out the glitter, or if you don't mind having a little bit of a more wet sponge, I feel like you'll like this. But overall, like I said, I feel like I can make these work really comfortably just by wetting them a couple hours before I want to use them. Okay, let's talk about one of those dupe products that I was really curious to see if they would actually work. This is SheGlam's, these are all SheGlam, but this is their blush. Now, biggest critique right now, I cannot for the life of me open this without some tools because the little knob here is impossible to get open. It is so strong, I have to use a tool. Even when I wasn't wearing fake nails and I just had my regular nails, I couldn't open it. Like, I feel like I was about to rip my own nail off. So a big con right there. I don't like having to struggle that hard to open a makeup product or a makeup compact. So something to note. But let's talk about the product inside. I got this because looking at it on the website, it looked like a matte color that could pass off as like a bronzer or a contour. Not really a contour, but I was hoping it would pass off as a bronzer. This is extremely shimmery and it does not pass off for a bronzer. Today I used it just on my cheeks. I did a little bit of bronzing on my temple and under here with another product, but on my cheek is just this. And as you can see, like, I think it looks fine. It doesn't look terrible, but it definitely has a very warm blushish look. So if you're someone who likes to blush, like I know a lot of ladies really love to go overboard with the blush, I think you'll like a product like this. But then we're talking about the color. I feel like the color is very soft. Like, I really do have to build it up to get color and not just shine. So in that respect, it's a little disappointing because it is a darker color. I felt like it almost just looked like a mistake when I would put it on and I wouldn't really build up the color. It would just look like a dark highlight that I put down here, if that makes sense. I don't know, this almost comes off as like a highlighter for dark skins or darker than me, or if you have a darker skin tone than me, and if you like that blushy highlighted look on your cheeks without a whole lot of color, I feel like this would really give it to you. But for me, if you're wanting blush, a blushy look, you really had to pile this on to get that color to show up, and then from applying it on, you almost had like that Tin Man look to it because you had to pack it on so much to get the color to show up. I hope that's making sense. Overall, it's not a bad product. If I was more into blush, I could probably see myself getting some good use out of it because, like I said, it does give a very beautiful glow to your cheek. But for me, I don't know, I'm just not big on glowy cheek or glowy blushes, I guess. But like I said, I can't really fault the product too much because I feel like it's, you know, not the best color choice for me and my skin tone. So overall, I think it's nice. If you like the Luminoso from Milani, if you like that flesh of color with a lot of shine, I feel like if you're deeper skin tone and you're wanting that kind of feel to it, this will probably do it for you because it's a more of a deeper color, but it's still extremely soft with the color and it gives a whole lot of shine. I really hesitate to recommend products for deeper skin tones though, because I'm not deeper skin tone, so I don't really want to speak to it because I don't know firsthand, so I won't want to steer you wrong. But that's the vibe I'm getting. Maybe look around on YouTube for some ladies of darker skin tones who have reviewed this and hopefully they'll be able to help you. But for now, I'm just very neutral on this. I feel like it's not meant for me, but I don't mind it. Next up, let's talk about what's on my lips. This is a little lip trio that I got that's supposed to be, in my opinion, a dupe for Jeffree Star. And the little lip trio retails for $7. So not a bad price. I mean, there are many, but at least you get 3 different colors. So I didn't think that was a terrible price. And I was excited to try them. They are really cute. If you like Jeffree Star's packaging, I feel like you'll like this because it does have, I mean, it has the stars, it has the whole, I mean, if it was turned around so you couldn't see the SheGlam logo and you were just holding up in a video, I feel like everyone would just immediately assume you had a Jeffree Star lipstick. Like, that's how, in my opinion, never having touched or seen a Jeffree Star product in person, that's how they look. So I thought that was kind of neat for those people maybe who don't want to spend their money on Jeffree Star right now, or it's too expensive. This is definitely an affordable dupe. But talking about the quality of these, they're not my favorite when it comes to liquid lipsticks. These are liquid lipsticks that dry down completely matte. I do have it on my lips today, but it is mixed with OFRA's Reimagined lipstick. This is one of Jen Love's Reviews collab with OFRA, so shout out to Jen Love's Reviews. You helped make this lipstick as dark as it is, but I had to mix it mainly because these lipsticks are very sheer, which honestly isn't that big a deal when you have like this nude, which is called EO3. Very exciting name. It's not that big a deal when you have this, and even this mauve one, which is EO2. Very creative, but even this mauve one is not too bad. When you get to this dark red, which is EO1, it was almost impossible for me to get away with it because right now I do have somewhat dry lips. I was blowing my nose all day yesterday, very dehydrated, my allergies were going crazy, and I can feel it on my lips today. Like, my lips are very dry, and trying to apply this on top, it just wasn't jiving. All of the darkness, like the depth of this color, was sticking into my dry patches, and then the center where my lips are smooth, it was very light. So it's one of those lipsticks that just, it doesn't look good. When we're talking about wear time, these are very comfortable, which is good. They're very comfortable on the lips. You can still feel that you have a liquid lipstick on that's set. You can still feel that, but they're very thin, so I find them very comfortable. However, once I start eating or once I start drinking, even drinking water, it does start to wear down fairly quickly. Once I started talking a bunch or I started sipping on water and it started to break down, then I noticed it starting to come off on my kids. They're fine. They just didn't blow me out of the water, and I can't really say that I recommend you run out and grab them just because they're just such a finicky formula that doesn't last long enough. Next up is the highlighter, and I feel like it's a little hard because, like I said, I put that blush all over and it's a very shiny blush, but I think you can see the highlighter. I put it all up here on my cheekbone, and this is a nice highlighter. It has a very interesting formula in that it almost feels, I guess hard pan would be the way to say it. It feels like the Pixi Glowy Glossomer Duos. That's what this feels like. It has a very interesting formula to it. It's kind of powdery, but not completely powdery. It's one of those like cream to powder formulas, I guess you would say. And the reason I'm saying that is because I feel like this type of highlighter is best picked up on a very dense brush like this. What is this? This is the ColourPop F5, which is basically a dupe for the F03 from Sigma. Either one of these brushes would be my recommendation to use when applying this, because you really do need to put the brush in there and wiggle it back and forth to get that product to adhere to the brush, because it's just so firmly packed. Like, you don't want to take a big fluffy brush. I feel like it just wouldn't pick it up enough. You need a dense brush. But with that out of the way, I feel like this is a really pretty blush. It's nothing super glittery. It's nothing incredibly vibrant, like, oh my goodness, I can see you from all the way over there. However, I feel like it gives a very beautiful glow to your cheeks. This is the color 201 Taurus, and I feel like I could have gone a shade lighter. Like, it's not bad. I don't think you can see it. It doesn't cast a shadow. At least I don't think. I guess I haven't really studied on camera, but in person it doesn't really cast too much of a shadow on my face when I'm looking straight forward. However, when I turn, I do get that glow, which I think is what you want in a highlighter. So I like this formula. It's not my favorite, as in, like, if I'm wanting a blinding highlight, it won't give me the most blinding highlight. However, if I want a really pretty glow, I can foresee myself using, and I've enjoyed using it. But honestly, all around, I was impressed with this, and for the price, you really can't complain. I thought it was beautiful, and if this is supposed to be a dupe for the Becca highlighters, I like this over the Becca. I have, what is it called? It's not Champagne Pop, it's Prosecco Pop. I have Prosecco Pop, and I just find it a very boring, average, subdued highlighter. This I like way more than that. Okay, are you guys ready to talk about palettes? I have 2 palettes to talk about. We'll talk about the one that's on my eyes right now. This is the SheGlam SeaFoan palette. This retails for $6, so with it being $6, I can't complain too much. It was $6 for 9 shadows and really large sizes, honestly. Like, you think of, okay, so my camera stopped, so I decided I would just grab a ColourPop palette, but here is the SheGlam, and then here is ColourPop. So as you can see, it's about half as small as the SheGlam palette, so at least you're getting really nice sizes, and like I said, $6, not a bad price. My con with this is, don't get this if you're wanting to get like those pretty pastel looks that you see. If you're wanting that, don't get this, because my eye look today, is the most color you can get out of this, and I packed it on my eyes to get the color. And just for reference, I used this in my crease, and like I said, I packed it on, and I'm a pretty pale girl and it took a good bit of work to build it up. And then I used, I think, Grotto in the outer corner and built that on, and that is the most color that you see in this whole eye look, because I did bring it up a little bit into the crease, and it's all I used on my lower lash lines. And I packed on mint onto my lid to try to give some color, because when I put the shimmer, which for this look I put Margarita all over my lid, these shimmers give absolutely no coverage, like zero coverage. They don't give any color. So I wanted to try to put mint underneath it to give a little bit more oomph, and it definitely did help a little bit in, you know, making my eye look pop a little bit more and my shimmer have more color. But if you like really intense, shimmery, sparkly type of shimmers, this actually is really nice. I was pleasantly surprised. Again, you're gonna get absolutely no color, but if you like those inner corner and you want a lot of reflect, a lot of sparkle, this gives a lot of sparkle and a lot of reflect. Anytime I catch myself in the mirror throughout the day and all of the looks that I did with this, you can see so much sparkle when you turn your head, and it really is very pretty. I was honestly so impressed, and that really kind of threw a wrench in it, because using the mattes, I was like, oh, this is just totally not worth it. I'm not gonna give it a good review. However, as I was using the shimmers, I was like, oh, this actually isn't bad. So if you're someone who wants to get a palette to experiment with really sparkly, just like oversprays, almost just like a topper shade, or if you want that really sparkly inner corner highlight, I feel like for $6 you could pick this up and you have, what is this, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5 shades right here. Could use to either top over any kind of look or just use on your inner corner, and it gives a really pretty sparkle. Even this blue, while it doesn't give the most color, as I was saying, they're all pretty sheer. I think you can see that sparkle. Like, it's just so much shine. It's gorgeous. With saying that though, there is some cons in that I really do have to use a glitter glue with this. If I did not use a glitter glue, I had so much fallout on my face. It was to the point where it was getting stuck on my lashes throughout the day. And then I kept kind of seeing it anytime I blinked. I would see this little shadow of a sparkle in my eyelash. I don't like that. I find that super annoying. So I always use a glitter glue. But even with glitter glue, you're going to see fallout. Even though I use glitter glue, by the end of the night, I still had a decent amount of fallout on my face. So definitely something to consider. These are more of a jelly texture to them. Think like ColourPop Super Shock. That's what these shimmers are, and I was really hesitant thinking that they would be a creasy mess on me, but surprisingly these weren't bad. If I didn't use the glitter glue, they did crease, but using glitter glue, they made a mess, I would say. Like, I did a cut crease one day, and even with glitter glue, it was all up in my crease. It was all over my lid by the end of the day. So they do move a lot, however, they don't crease. So something to keep in mind. You know, these don't give a whole lot of color, so I suppose they wouldn't really be that noticeable if they did crease, but just something I wanted to throw out there. They move a lot, but they didn't crease on me, so that was nice. Oh yeah, you have to use your finger. I tried using a brush, and while the brush, like if you get the right, very dense kind of packer brush, it can work. Honestly, the best way to apply these are with your finger. I'm someone who isn't crazy about using my fingers, so I wasn't crazy about discovering that, but if you don't mind using your fingers, that won't be a big issue. But I did want to mention it because I hate getting my fingers dirty. Unless I'm doing a swatch party video where I get to swatch it and I'm going to be dirty anyway. When I'm doing my makeup in the morning, I don't like to use my fingers if I don't have to, so just something to note. So yeah, a lot of pros, a lot of cons with this palette. I think it just comes down to preference. If you're wanting it for the mattes, don't bother. They are just not good quality, but the shimmers, I can't deny the shimmers are really pretty. Okay, and very last up, this is the Artistry palette. Another palette that I did not really expect to love, because when I swatched these, the mattes swatched so poorly. I will say when I first got this, I made a couple comments about how nasty it smelled. It still smells bad if you get close, but it's getting better, thankfully. But anyway, this palette has one glitter. I did not use it all, so I cannot say anything about the glitters, but there was only one and I didn't feel like testing it out, so I'm so sorry. Talking about the mattes in this palette, the mattes are okay. They're not as bad as I thought they were. When I swatched them on my arm, they didn't seem all that really. They just kind of seemed very lackluster, very sheer, like they weren't going to do a lot, but actually using it on my eyes, they do perform. They're just an extremely thin texture, but if you spend some time kind of packing it on, really working to build it up, taking your time, you can get color to show up. So I was happy to see that. However, I think the big drawback for me is when we're talking about mattes, there's only these 4 here, this yellow, and then these shades here, which 2 of them, which is this one and this one, are so light, especially with it being such a thin formula, you can't really see it on my skin tone. The yellow, you can show it up and you can see yellow, but it is such a light wash of yellow. Like I was looking on camera when I wore the, you know, the yellow in a look, and I was looking at the footage I recorded, you almost can't see the yellow. Like that's how light and how sheer and how thin of a formula it is, which is a little disappointing. The green I thought showed up fine, and then these colors were okay. They were fine, nothing too, you know, exciting, but they performed well. However, the dark colors, which are these two and this one, they're not that dark. So if you're someone who really likes to deepen out and smoke out a look, which is my preference, you can't get that no matter how hard you try with this look. I wouldn't recommend this palette if you're wanting it for the mattes. However, with the shimmers, once again, it surprised me. This orange, oh my goodness, this orange, like absolutely shocked me. I'll put it right in between these two. It's beautiful. Like, I was shocked. You do need to use a very dense brush. However, when you use a dense brush to really pick it up and apply it like a flat dense brush, it applies really nice, especially if you use a glitter glue. It sticks right down and has no problem showing up. It gives a lot of pigment. It's nothing intense metallic. I do want to make sure I'm clear about that. They're not so beautiful in the metallic realm, but they're very beautiful in the shimmer realm. So this shade right here was absolutely beautiful, but it is also the worst shimmer in the palette, which is a little bit of a, ugh, what a bummer. This is really pretty. It's very flaky, which is why it's the worst quality, but do you guys see that shine? I want to say I use this every time for an inner corner highlight. I used it one day all over the lid, but all the other times I was using it for inner corner highlight because it's so blinding. However, because it's so flaky, it gives so much fallout throughout the day. With the shimmers, for the most part, especially if I used a glitter glue, I saw zero to little fallout on my face throughout the day, except for this shade right here. I don't think these have names, no. This shade right here though, didn't matter if I used a glitter glue or not, it fell all over my face a lot, like all throughout the day. But anyway, overall, I thought the shimmers were very nice. They surprised me a lot, once again making me kind of have to stop and say, you know what? It's not a bad palette. If you're looking at this palette wanting it just for the shimmers, I don't think you'll be too upset. If you like just a solid shimmer palette with a decent formula, I didn't notice these creasing at all. They faded a little bit throughout the day, but very minimal fading, nothing noticeable, so I was happy enough with that. I wish there was more color when it came to the mattes, and I wish there was more depth and a better quality mattes, and if it had that, like, it would have been a fantastic palette that I had no issues with, really. Like, yes, issues with a little bit of things here and there, but overall, as a whole, I wouldn't have been so mad at it. But since the mattes aren't the best and there isn't a lot of variety, I feel like for me, if I were to pull this palette out and want to do a look with it, I just want to stick to the orange and the green and the yellow. But with that said, like, that's a very light and airy type of look, and I like a little bit more depth, a little bit more versatility, and a little bit more punch with my colors. But if that's your thing, I feel like you won't be mad at it. So it really just depends on the type of person and like what you want this palette for. If you're looking at this wanting it more for the mattes, I don't think you'll be disappointed, especially considering the price. But if you're wanting it as a complete palette to not need anything else, and you like color and you like intensity and depth to your eye looks, I think you'll be a little disappointed. So it just depends. All right, so once again, another brand review video for me that I thought I would be able to just pop out in like 10 minutes and be done, and here I am with over 30 minutes of footage because I talk too much. I hope it was helpful for you guys to be able to see if SheGlam is worth getting for you, if they might be an option for dupes for these brands that they're trying to dupe with the Fenty, the Becca, the Jeffree Star, and the Huda, I think is what the pastel, what is this, SeaFoan? I think, can you guys tell me, what is the Artistry palette trying to dupe? I'm still confused, but I know this one is a Huda palette. But anyway, I hope this video is helpful for you guys to be able to see if they might be potential dupes, or, you know, if you're not here for the dupes, just to see if they would be worth buying. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. Let me know your thoughts down below. Are there any other products from SheGlam you would like me to test out? Definitely let me know. As I said in the beginning, this was requested by a subscriber of mine, so I really do appreciate when you guys give me feedback or video suggestions or brands like this video, brands that you would like me to check out, as it really helps me be able to steer my videos and my content into a direction that helps you guys and is the most informative for you guys. So yeah, with all that in mind, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you guys found this video enjoyable. And if you did, please hit the thumbs up button on your way out, as it helps me in the whole YouTube algorithm. And if you want to continue getting daily content from me, I am over on my Instagram page. I'm LadyKatie92, and I upload there about every day. But yeah, with all that said, I think that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye, guys.